Welcome back to Advocacy, Alchemy with Professor Ross. We have a interesting short video here. Listen closely and let's see what this video has to offer. The title of this short video is going to be "The Street is Not the Place to Argue Your Case." Or better yet, the street's not the place to argue. Let's find out why.
That's why I said be a man, nigga. Get out this bitch. Come on. Stop talking.
Stop talking regular for a pop your dumb ass. Well, hold up.
You said pop. Come on, we can get this whole stuff came to right now. On God. On God. To be your last day working, living in this bitch. On God. Everything I love. Come on. Come out. Actually, you talk regular. We can go outside. You ready for whatever outside? Y'all know what? Let you know. You ready for whatever outside. Word to my mom. He won't step outside and do my God. She reported to it.
License off your head. Come on. Come on.
What you do? What's up?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What the fuck? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Sorry about that, y'all. Doing all that fuck talk. All you well with rich fuck niggas. I got 3 kids. Turn take clothes. Everybody out.
So, as you can see, the clerk was not playing on this evening with those group of young guys. The street is not the place to argue your case. Now let's take a look and see what charges could come from something like this. You have a weapon that was drawn and shot, so that's usually considered an assault. I don't know what state this is in, but we'll look in 2 different states. We'll look at Texas, we'll look at Georgia. All right, so let's see what both of those states have to say about this. Okay, so let's jump in and see what the law has to say. Let's start with Texas. So the Texas Penal Code, Chapter 9, use of force. In Texas, discharging a firearm at another person is governed by laws pertaining to the use of force and deadly force. This is all found in Chapter 9 of the Texas Penal Code. Use of force and deadly force. Self-defense, okay, under Section 9.31, a person is justified in using force against another when and to the degree they reasonably believe or employment. Deadly force, all right, 3.2 or 9.32 states that a person is justified in using deadly force if they would be justified in using force under 9.31 and when they reasonably believe deadly force is immediately necessary to protect themselves against another's use or attempted use of unlawful deadly force. All right, Castle Doctrine and the Stand Your Ground Doctrine. Texas law incorporates the Castle Doctrine, which presumes that a person has a reasonable belief in the necessity of using force if someone unlawfully and with force enters their habitation, vehicle, or place of business or employment. Additionally, Texas Stand Your Ground provision states that a person who has the right to be present at a location where force is used has not provoked the person against whom force is used and is not engaged in criminal activity at the time is not required to retreat before using force. All right, so we hear a lot here. Looking back at that video of the worker, who was using force first? There were some words back and forth between the two, but were there threats that someone was going to use a gun against someone else? I think the worker went beyond the level of force required between the individuals. Now, we don't have a full video here to see what happened, but he seemed a little extreme there. Let's look up terroristic threats and acts in Texas. Here's my search up here. All right. Texas Penal Code Section 22.07, terroristic act or threat. Or terroristic threat, I'm sorry. In Texas, terroristic threats are addressed under 22.07. This statute defines a terroristic threat as a threat to commit any offense involving violence to any person or property made with specific intents, such as causing fear, disrupting public services, or influencing government activities. All right, the key aspects. All right, a person commits this offense if they threaten to commit any offense involving violence to another person. All right, right here, second one. Place any person in fear of imminent serious bodily injury. I think once he walks outside with that gun and he shoots it twice, he's squarely within this statute. In my home jurisdiction, we have terroristic acts, which are the actual shooting of the pistol, and terroristic threats, which is the waving or threatening to use the pistol. So here in Texas, they may not delineate those like that. All right, penalties. The severity of the penalties for making terroristic threats in Texas varies based on the intent and the circumstances. All right, you have Class B misdemeanor, you have a Class A misdemeanor, you have a state jail felony, and you have a third-degree felony. Third-degree felony is the more extreme one. It says threats intended to impair public services or influence government activities are punishable between 2 and 10 years in prison, a fine of up to $10,000. All right, recent incidents, important considerations, intent. The prosecution must prove that the defendant intended to cause fear. All right. And remember, the prosecution must prove everything beyond a reasonable doubt. With that video, do you believe they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the worker intended to cause fear in that group of men who were threatening him or trying to fight him? Defenses. Potential defenses include lack of intent, mistaken identity, or that the threat was not serious. Don't think those work here. Same law in Georgia. Remember, we don't know where this came from, so let's look at 2 different places and see what it pulls back. In Georgia, that's found at Section 16-11-37. All right. It says that terroristic threat here is a person commits this offense when they threaten to commit any crime of violence. If someone says, I'm going to shoot you, that's squarely within this realm of this statute. Or to release any hazardous substance, or to burn or damage property. All those fall within terroristic threats in Georgia. Such threats must be made with the purpose of terrorizing another person, causing the evacuation of a building, place of assembly, or facility of public transportation, or causing serious public inconvenience. Let's talk about the public inconvenience. Did you notice how everybody had to run and hide when that gun started going off? Yeah. Georgia does have terroristic acts. This offense includes actions such as using a burning or flaming cross or other burning or flaming symbol with the intent to terrorize another or their household, shooting at or throwing an object at a conveyance, which is a vehicle, that's being operated or occupied, releasing any hazardous substance with the intent to terrorize, cause evacuation, or create serious public inconvenience. The penalties here in Georgia, generally is classified as a misdemeanor. All right, if the threat suggests death of the threatened individual, it becomes a felony. A fine of up to $1,000, imprisonment for not less than 1 or more than 5 years, or both. Terroristic acts, 5 up to 5,000, imprisonment between 1 and 10 years. Serious, if a person suffers serious physical injury, up to $250,000, not less than 5 years nor more than 40 years, corroboration requirement. A conviction for terroristic threats requires corroboration. The uncorroborated testimony of the alleged victim is insufficient. All right, so that means you need some testimony from someone else saying that they saw this happen or this is the way the thing happened. Defenses, absence of intent, lack of evidence, or that the threat was just made in jest without serious intent. Now, here at this store, it was not made as a joke. That's what made in jest means. All right, it was fairly serious. He bust that gun a couple times. All right, so with that, this is a short night school session. I am Professor Ross. This is Advocacy Alchemy. If you like the night school session, give a like. If you have any comments, leave them below. And give me a subscription, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Good night.